From tearjerkers to coming-of-age classics to a hype-eating contest between two longtime rivals, September is set to remind you why you pay for your Netflix subscription. The original Jaws laid the foundation for modern cinema in multiple ways. Not only did it invent a new type of horror movie that made an entire generation afraid of swimming in the ocean, but it also basically established the concept of the summer blockbuster.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Oh, and it also put its director, the one and only Steven Spielberg, on the map. While one of its stars thought it would fail, it did anything but, and it continues to be a masterclass in suspense and the power of showing less and leaving more to the imagination. While Jaws will be the main attraction when it hits Netflix in September, it's also worth noting that 2 of its 3 sequels will be swimming onto the streaming service at the same time. Jaws 2 didn't come anywhere close to matching its predecessor, but it's decent enough to fulfill its role as the unnecessary but entertaining sequel. Finally, Jaws 3D is probably only worth watching for the morbidly curious, but it's tagging along as well. All that's missing to complete the franchise is 1987's Jaws: The Revenge. But yeah, we don't even need to talk about that one. Ridley Scott's name is being thrown around a lot these days, thanks to both Alien Romulus and the upcoming Gladiator sequel.
Whose head could I give you that would satisfy this fury?
The entire Roman armies.
So why not take this opportunity to check out one of his best-reviewed movies of all time, the 2007 historical crime drama American Gangster. The movie tells the story of real-life Harlem drug kingpin Frank Lucas and his eventual downfall, in part thanks to the work of detective-turned-lawyer Richie Roberts.
Come on now, Richie, what you think that impresses me, huh? You think that you better than them? You ain't no better than none of them other cops. In fact, you the same as them.
The powerhouse acting talent doesn't end there, as Josh Brolin, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Cuba Gooding Jr., Idris Elba, and Ruby Dee are just a few of the names that round out the impressive ensemble, with Dee earning a Best Supporting Actress Oscar nomination for her portrayal of Lucas's mother. The movie's art direction also scored a nomination. We declared American Gangster to be the 5th best gangster movie of all time, sandwiched right between Scarface and Goodfellas. High praise indeed, and there's no better way to find out if you agree than to check it out when it hits Netflix in September. Though Crunchyroll might remain the go-to streaming service for anime fans, Netflix has an impressive track record of offering a well-curated library of anime, both original and licensed. The streamer has also been good about streaming not only some of the best anime shows of all time, like One Piece and My Hero Academia, but lesser-known titles that are no less deserving of an expanded audience outside of their native country. September sees another stellar example of that by way of Blue Giant, originally released in 2023 and based on the mid-2010s manga series of the same name. While a story about a high school kid discovering a love for jazz music might not sound as exciting as an anime with giant robots or epic fight scenes, Blue Giant deserves a watch or two when it joins Netflix this month, not only by anime fans but fans of films in general, especially those that are love letters to the power of music. Still not convinced? Maybe the fact that it has a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes will sway you into checking it out. Sometimes you just want to turn your brain off and have fun watching stuff go boom. And what better way to do that than by treating yourself to a mini marathon of the first 3 Expendables movies when they explode onto Netflix in September. The brainchild of screenwriter David Callahan and action movie icon Sylvester Stallone, The Expendables is a self-aware celebration of the kinds of big, loud action movies that saw their golden age in the 1980s and early 90s. A lot of fun of the series comes from its cast, a who's who of action film royalty, past and present, including some stars that Hollywood isn't casting much anymore. Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mel Gibson, Harrison Ford, Chuck Norris, Jason Statham, Jet Li, Dolph Lundgren, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Wesley Snipes, Antonio Banderas, and Terry Crews all appear in one or more of the first 3 Expendables movies, every single one fully understanding the assignment and clearly having a blast. The first one is the best overall, but the second installment is special because it sees Willis and Schwarzenegger playing their biggest roles of the series in the most screen time they've ever spent together.
I'll be back. You've been back enough. I'll be back.
Yippee-ki-yay.
And unlike with Jaws, the 3rd Expendables movie is still plenty of fun and it's worth committing to the triple feature. The first feature-length film from the classic Aardman animation franchise starring the titular duo Curse of the Were-Rabbit sees Wallace and his trusty pet dog take on a monstrous bunny-werewolf hybrid in a clear homage to Golden Age horror movies. Taking home the 5th ever Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, Curse of the Were-Rabbit is an absolute delight for kids and adults alike. There are several Aardman animation films on Netflix at the moment: Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget, a Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon, and Flushed Away. Safe to say, any combination of them would make for a great great double feature with Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Ultimately, we just want people to watch more Aardman movies, because pretty much every single one of them is excellent and a lot of people sleep on them. Though it made the film festival rounds last year, His Three Daughters makes its streaming debut on Netflix in September. Written and directed by Azazel Jacobs, the drama tells the story of three estranged adult sisters who are brought back together when they are forced to spend time with their dying father.
I understand what a stressful situation it is. It's very nice that you're all here at a time like this. We all want your father to transition as peaceful as possible.
Called a heartbreaking plunge into sisterhood and grief by Screen International, His Three Daughters is a kind of intimate character drama that seems to only thrive on streaming services these days. Carrie Coon, Elizabeth Olsen, and Natasha Lyonne are exceptional actors in their own right, and they are electric together as their characters go through an intense emotional journey. It's Olsen's first feature film since Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and it's hard to think of a better way to follow up such a huge superhero spectacle than His Three Daughters, reminding us that she's so much more than the MCU's Scarlet Witch. Originally titled as such because it was intended to be 30 documentaries that coincided with the 30th anniversary of the cable sports network, ESPN's 30 for 30 has since expanded beyond that initial batch of films to include over 120 episodes and counting. While the complete library of 30 for 30 is of course available on not only ESPN Plus but also sister services Disney Plus and Hulu, various installments have found their way to other streaming platforms as well, including Netflix. As of now, Netflix has 9 installments of 30 for 30 in its library, and is set to add 5 more in September, perhaps trying to capitalize on the already ongoing NCAA football season and the September start of the NFL regular season. All of this new batch of 30 for 30 films revolve around football. Catholics vs. Convicts focuses on a single 1988 game between Notre Dame and the University of Miami. Pony Excess looks at the controversial sports program of Southern Methodist University in the early 80s. Rand University looks at the early career of retired wide receiver Randy Moss. And parts 1 and 2 of The U both cover various aspects of the University of Miami's Hurricanes. The phrase video game adaptation no longer instantly sends shivers down the spine. The last decade or so has seen a noticeable improvement in the quality of screen adaptations of popular video game franchises, particularly when it comes to turning them into series. Netflix has had a few great ones on its own so far, including Castlevania, Cyberpunk Edgerunners, and Arcane. Video game movies continue to be a bit more of a mixed bag, but 2020's Sonic the Hedgehog, spin dashing its way onto Netflix in September, definitely felt like a turning point. Sonic the Hedgehog was not only the highest-grossing video game movie of all time domestically up to that point, but more importantly, it was one of the first to manage good reviews overall. Even now, it remains one of the best-reviewed video game movies of all time. Much of that is due to not only Ben Schwartz as the voice of Sonic and his wonderful chemistry with co-star James Marsden, but Jim Carrey's gleefully unhinged portrayal of Dr. Robotnik, which many saw as a long-overdue return to peak 90s Carrey.
Look at that. I was right. Note the lack of surprise. Shall we try this again?
And with the third installment only a few months away, it's the perfect time to catch up with the series, starting with its first installment. Netflix first breached out into live events in March 2023 when it aired the comedy special Chris Rock, Selected Outrage. Since then, the streamer has continued to experiment with the format, including a Love is Blind reunion, a golf event, a tennis event, 2 multi-week live animal camera feeds, the 2024 SAG Awards, and a Netflix fan event called To Doom 2023. In September, Netflix will air its latest live special, this time focusing on the fascinating world of competitive eating. Titled Chestnut vs. Kobayashi, Unfinished Beef, the special's main event will be a hot dog eating competition between Joey Chestnut and Takeru Kobayashi, 2 of the biggest names in the field.
No, he's amazing. He's an awesome eater, and we're gonna eat some hot dogs for real on Labor Day.
Also slated to compete is Matt Stoney, a big name in competitive eating who has also become a crossover celebrity due to his popular YouTube channel and social media accounts. The event will mark the first time that longtime rivals Chestnut and Kobayashi have directly competed in 15 years. After Unfinished Beef, the next live Netflix event is scheduled to take place in November, when Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are set to have their long-awaited boxing match, assuming it actually happens this time. After seemingly leaving the DCEU behind after Justice League, though he had producer credits on Wonder Woman 1984 and The Suicide Squad, Zack Snyder has since gone all in on making movies for Netflix. He started his partnership with the streamer in 2021 with the zombie romp Army of the Dead and its prequel, Army of Thieves. After that, he launched into his ambitious space opera series, Rebel Moon, which thus far has had 2 main installments plus a director's cut of each. One of the reasons Snyder was given the keys to the DC movie kingdom was because he previously had success adapting the Dark Horse comic book miniseries 300 into the 2006 movie of the same name.
This is Sparta!
Critics were fairly lukewarm on it, but it was a huge hit with audiences and remains Snyder's highest-grossing non-DC movie to date. Very loosely based on the real-life Battle of Thermopylae, it was Gerard Butler's breakthrough, as well as the biggest pre-Game of Thrones role up to that point for Lena Headey. And now you can see the movie that did big things for their careers when 300 charges onto Netflix in September. The most buzzed about Netflix original hitting the streaming service in September is arguably The Perfect Couple. Based on the popular novel of the same name by Ellen Hildebrand, this will be a limited series with an impressive cast led by Nicole Kidman, Liev Schreiber, and Dakota Fanning. Kidman plays a Nantucket novelist named Greer Garrison Winbury, who doesn't approve of the woman that her son Benji plans to marry. But what really sets things in motion is when a corpse washes ashore in the area. That's when the family drama becomes a murder mystery. Schreiber plays Benji's dad, and Fanning his sister. Like any good mystery story, everyone's a suspect, including not only the previously mentioned characters, but the many more that will be introduced as the series goes on. It remains to be seen if it gets the same level of acclaim as the 2022 Netflix original Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery. But subscribers can begin gathering clues when The Perfect Couple debuts on September 5th. September will also see the addition of 2 coming-of-age movies that should be required viewing. 1982's Fast Times at Ridgemont High was the first movie written by Cameron Crowe, establishing him as one of the biggest new cinematic voices of his generation. It offers a relatively unfiltered look at the relationships of high school students, platonic, romantic, and everything in between. Its young cast is full of future movie stars, including what remains the only outright comedic performance Sean Penn has ever given.
Hey! You guys had shirts on when you came in here.
Something happened to him, man.
Not as sexually charged, but still surprisingly mature given the ages of its cast is Stand By Me, which follows a group of preteen boys as they go on a memorable multi-day adventure that takes them into forests, through rivers, and across train tracks, all in an effort to find a dead body that they heard about. It's based on a novella by Stephen King, the first of his non-horror stories to be adapted to the screen, and a hint that maybe his non-horror stories would make the best adaptations. That was later confirmed by the likes of The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile.